first product we have on offer is not a paint material at all. It's actually a pre-treat. It's applied in a kit. You've got A and B. You simply put the B component into the A side, give it a shake, and it's ready. There's a blue dye in this material. The reason we put a blue dye in the material is to identify on the skin where you've been, where you're going. Once it's activated, you have a 12-hour pot life, so you've got plenty of time. My advice to you is write the time of activation on the actual container. The product has three main advantages. First of all, it's non-chrome. That's a good thing. Secondly, there's a corrosion inhibitor in here. It's not just an adhesion promoter, it's a corrosion inhibitor. And thirdly, any aerospace epoxy primer, chrome or non-chrome, can be applied on top of this material. Again, it's a pre-treat. So just treat this as you would iodine or wash primer. Any epoxy can go on top of this material. So we're in the paint shop. Our aircraft is ready. We've got bare skin, clean skin. Time for jet prep. Very simple. It comes in a kit. So you apply the vial into the jet prep itself. You notice the glasses and the gloves are very important. Replace the top and give the solution a shake. We do the math. You don't need to do anything. Once it's shaken, goes in very easily. Again, water-based material. In this case, we're going to place into a PPS because of the volume that we have. But that could be a pressure pot, could be any type of vessel. Once it's in there, I'm going to be using, in this case, as mentioned earlier, it can be any spray gun, any pneumatic spray gun, this one in this case. Pressure, it's a water-based material. You don't need a lot of pressure to atomize. What I'm going to be doing is using a gauge and obviously adjusting the fan and the fluid accordingly and applying one light coat onto the surface. Very easy. These PPS, it's always a good practice to actually filter in, even though there's a filter on the PPS. But I find these 125 filters, which is what these are quite adequate for most coatings. So it's a simple dispense. Now you'll see the blue tracer. And the reason we put the tracer in, as mentioned earlier, is that you can see where you're going and where you've been. This is quite a stark color on the actual skin. It may seem like a very faint blue color, but actually on the skin, when you see with and without jet prep, so there's no disillusionment on have we done this, have we done that. So we've stirred the material, we'll let it induct, and then we'll apply it to the skin. For the sake of exercising this huge training center in Morrinsville, we use training foils. This has been pre-cleaned, of course, we've got a product called 110-158. Wipe on, wipe off, of course. Two ways to treat aluminum. Ideally, you get to water break. Water break is, everyone knows what water break is. The second one, if you're sanding aluminum, make sure you clean it down thoroughly with a 110-158 typically. And that material is then ready to recoat. Cleanliness is everything. It's like most painting cycles. Treat the jet prep application as though it was the last and final application of material, although it's still pre-treat. Clean, clean, clean is key. So we're going to apply one coat on each of these foils, and we've got some foils around the other side, and you'll see the difference between the jet prep on and the jet prep off. So let's talk about the application. I'm using this gun, of course. I'm going to be adjusting accordingly with pressure, fluid, and the fan itself, the density of the fan. And typically it's going to be a 50-50% overlap. It could be a little tighter, but essentially we want to put a thin film, a closed bead on the surface. This particular gun, again, it could be any gun, any pneumatic gun of choosing, pressure pot, no electrostatic. I must really emphasize that. And one closed film coat, and we're out the door.